Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's case is a very disturbing case, so viewer discretion is advised. YingYing Zhang was a 26-year-old student who was from China. She was described as someone who took her academics very seriously and she always strived for the best. YingYing also earned her master's degree in environmental engineering. In April 2017, YingYing began her one-year position at the University of Illinois to further her studies. On June 9th, 2017, just 2 months after YingYing arrived to the United States, YingYing had a 2 o'clock appointment to meet a leasing agent for potential apartments that she was considering renting. YingYing was very excited about this opportunity, but she never arrived to her appointment. The last text that YingYing ever sent were to the leasing agent, which was around 1:39 p.m., stating that she had trouble with the buses and would be about 30 minutes late. Later that same day at 7 p.m., YingYing failed to arrive at a meeting with her lab partner and her professor. This was highly unusual for YingYing. She would always show up, or she would text or call to let her know that something had possibly came up. But since this was so unusual, the professor, which his name was Jeffrey Braun, had told the lab partner to get in contact with campus police to report this unusual situation going on. YingYing was very particular about her studies and she took it very seriously, so they knew right away that something was incredibly wrong. As soon as the lab partner had reported YingYing missing, an investigation began into YingYing's disappearance. In YingYing's dorm, when they were investigating, they noticed that there was cash and travel documents left, which meant to investigators that YingYing did not plan to leave on her own accord, that she would be back to the dorms. YingYing's family was also notified about her disappearance and were devastated. What's also really difficult about this is that they were on the other side of the world and were getting updates all the way in China. I can't imagine what they are going through. They're not able to really get a handle on what exactly happened to YingYing. I mean, this is so out of character for them, and I can only imagine how they felt in this moment. The investigation was so intense that even the FBI was called in to further investigate YingYing's disappearance. They worked tirelessly to try and find new leads as to what happened. Before long, investigators ended up getting their hands on video footage of YingYing the day that she went missing. Video had captured YingYing boarding the bus at about 1:35 p.m. smiling as she showed the bus driver her bus pass. She then got off the bus 17 minutes later at 1:52 p.m. She was seen walking along the sidewalk to another bus stop so she can transfer buses to get to her destination. The video footage also caught YingYing running to the bus stop, but unfortunately she missed the bus by mere seconds. It was also seen on footage that YingYing stuck around, presumably hoping to catch the next bus, but then at around 1:59 p.m. a black 4-door sedan was captured pulling up on YingYing, and the unknown driver spoke for about 1 minute through the passenger side window, and at precisely 2 p.m. YingYing got into the car and the car drove away. Investigators couldn't get a clear picture of the license plate, but the FBI analysis confirmed that the car was a Saturn Astra. Although surveillance videos from nearby captured the car driving around campus, it became harder to track once it headed away from the school grounds and into a more residential area. Meanwhile, campus police had received a report from a student named Emily Hogan, who stated that on that day that YingYing disappeared, someone driving a black car approached her, claiming to be an undercover cop and was offering her a ride. The woman obviously refused the ride from the stranger, and it lended to a theory that perhaps YingYing might have been kidnapped. While investigating, investigators had found about 9 owners of a black Saturn Astra in Champaign County and followed up with each one. None of them especially stood out, leading them to re-examine the surveillance video. Then they found the car that was seen on surveillance footage due to it having a broken handcuff and a sunroof. Agents cross-referenced car owners they'd previously visited, finding that only one had a sunroof, which was 27-year-old Brendan Christians. According to YingYing's classmate and university journalist Samantha Boyle, she stated that Brian was someone known around campus. He was a grad student from the physics department who had become a teaching assistant. Samantha stated, he was teaching other students and earning his own degree at the same time. Generally pretty quiet and kept to himself. Investigators looked back at Brian's statements from when they had visited the Astra owners, and Brian claimed that he was asleep or playing video games at his apartment when YingYing disappeared. Brian's wife was out of town for the weekend, so they couldn't really question her about his whereabouts at the time. And Emily Hogan, the woman who claimed someone tried luring her into the vehicle, immediately identified Bryant from a photo lineup as the man who said that he was the undercover cop. On June 15, 2017, Bryant was arrested at his home. When investigators were questioning Bryant, he stated that he found YingYing very distressed on the side of the road and offered to give her a ride. But when Brian had made a wrong turn accidentally, this spooked YingYing. And Bryant claimed, I'm not going to keep someone I barely know in my car who doesn't want to be there, so I let her go. Initially, Bryant was denying any involvement with YingYing's disappearance. Law enforcement secured a search warrant for Bryant's car, but they found absolutely nothing to tie him as a suspect to YingYing's disappearance. They then interviewed Bryant's wife, who said that she and Brian were in an open relationship and that Brian was dating someone named Tara Bullis. Tara and Brian had met on a dating site earlier in 2017, and Tara admitted that the pair were involved in a domineering, submissive type of relationship. But when they did talk to Tara, Tara said that they had a very open relationship and was very concerned about YingYing's disappearance and had agreed to help investigators see if Brian had knew more than what he was leading on. Searches had commenced for YingYing, and Tara had agreed to wear a wire in hopes that Brian would mention his involvement in YingYing's disappearance. The chance came on June 29, 2017, when YingYing's relatives from China and fellow students gathered for the benefit march of YingYing's name. Brian and Tara walked at the benefit, and what Tara caught on audio painted a horrible picture of YingYing's final moment. Brian stated to Tara, they have no idea what happened. Nobody knows what happens except me. Brian had called YingYing resilient, saying he found her supernatural and that she did not die in spite of his attempts to choke her to death. At some point, he told Tara that he tried stepping on her neck to cause YingYing's death. Tara was very fearful when secretly recording Bryant, so much so that recording picked up the sound of her pounding heart as Brian continued to describe what he did to YingYing. Brian claimed that when he couldn't kill YingYing, he then carried her to the bathtub and he used a baseball bat to hit her hard enough that it literally broke open her head. Bryant stated, I wasn't sure if she was dead or not, so I had a knife and I stabbed her in the neck and she grabbed for it. Brian's confession was enough for investigators to arrest him for YingYing's murder, despite no sign of a body ever being found. A search warrant of Brian's house revealed that YingYing's blood was on the mattress, the wall, and the floor of his bedroom. However, the bathroom had been tremendously clean, with Bryant hiring professional maintenance workers to come and replace the grout and the tub. On June 24th, 2019, just over 2 years after YingYing's disappearance, a jury found Bryant guilty of kidnapping resulting in the death of YingYing. He was sentenced to life in prison. According to the family attorney Steve Beckett, Bryant reportedly told his own lawyers that he had dismembered YingYing's body and disposed of it in a dumpster behind his apartment complex before it wound up in a massive landfill. Unfortunately, YingYing's body has never been found. This story was very tragic. It's just so awful that YingYing came to the United States to try and better her life and try and become a better student. She also cared so much about her family, and she was just trying to be a star student. And I can't imagine how her family feels having to come to the United States, not for YingYing's graduation, but to stand trial for their daughter's disappearance, and the fact that they can't even lay her to rest because her body has never been found. And the fact that Brian dumped her in the trash like she was nothing just proves to me how pathetic of a human being he is, and he deserves whatever he gets in prison. And I'm so happy that they sentenced him to life, even though YingYing's body has never been found. But I really do hope that one day they are able to find any piece of her body and hopefully lay her to rest like she deserves. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have you guys heard of this case? What do you guys think about this? Please leave your thoughts down below and subscribe for more true crime. Thank you guys so much. Bye.